So I'm going to make some fermented dill pickles today because I was at the farmer's market this morning and I found these great little young cucumbers. They were on sale, about $1 a pound. They were picked either this morning or late yesterday afternoon. They're perfect for pickling. You want as fresh a cucumber as you can get. If it's been out of the garden more than 24 hours, it may not do as well. So this is perfect. The other thing, these are from a small local farm. They're not waxed. That's another plus. And to prepare the cucumbers, all I do is I wash them and I'll trim off the blossom end here. Like I said, I really like crispy pickles. This blossom end has enzymes that make the cucumber break down and get softer. I don't want that. And the way you tell the blossom end, you have the stem end. Sometimes it'll have a small piece of the stem attached. It tends to be a little thicker, a little greener. The blossom end will frequently be a little paler, and the scar at the end will be dry and kind of a tan or grayish color. And all you want to do is just trim off the very tip and get that scar off of there. Now, since this is a ferment, we'll need salt. Salt acts as a preservative. It controls the bacteria. It helps the good bacteria get started and keeps the bad bacteria out. The lactobacilli and other bacteria that are good, that we want, can tolerate salt. So it just gives them an environment where they've got the edge. That's 6 tablespoons for a half a gallon of water in this recipe. I've got 2 tablespoons of dill seed, because what's a dill pickle without dill? You can use fresh dill. My garden did not do well this year. I don't have any. You can use 4 to 6 heads of fresh dill for this recipe. Pretty much to taste. Garlic. I like my garlic. Again, bad year for gardening. My garlic did not seem to thrive, so this is store-bought. I'll probably use the whole head. Juniper berries. These I actually did pick. They're from trees that grow here. I just picked them when they're this nice dark purple color. Let them dry a little. I will not use nearly this many. I'll probably just use a pinch or so, that, maybe twice that much. It's really to taste. I'll also put in a few cracked peppercorns, but I don't have them on here. The final secret ingredient, leaves. Now, the tannin in the leaves helps keep the pickles crispy. That's the only reason you use these. This is an oak leaf. It works fine. If you can get grape leaves, they work well too. I'm going to use a little of both. This is a wild grape leaf that I picked out back. If you're not familiar with wild grape, use oak leaves or get a good foraging guide or grab a friend who knows how to identify them. There is one poisonous or at least toxic look-alike. The leaf looks similar, but it's got smooth margins. Again, get a good identification guide if you're not familiar with wild grape. And you can leave the leaves out. They just help make sure you have a really crispy pickle, or as crispy as you can get. Alright, so now I'm going to mix up my brine and start layering ingredients in. And I'll be back once I get all that started. Alright, so I'm ready to begin packing my jar. First thing I'll do, take a couple of my washed oak leaves, maybe a grape leaf. Actually, I probably should have collected more leaves. This will probably do, but a few more wouldn't have hurt. Go ahead and drop them in the bottom. Add a few juniper berries. A couple of cloves of garlic. Pinch of dill. Now when you start packing your jar, keep in mind that larger cucumbers take longer to ferment, so it's a good idea just to put the larger ones, go ahead and just put them at the bottom. If you can get them to stand upright, Sometimes you can pack more in that way. Right now, I'm just going to start packing and I'll work around it. So once the largest ones are in, what I'll do is I'll kind of give the jar a good shake. There we go. Oh yeah, plenty of room. So I'll go ahead and start adding more. When I get a nice little layer built up, I'll go ahead and add in some more garlic. You can also add hot peppers into this. I'm not going to this time. A few more juniper seeds. Most of the dill. This way the dill isn't all trapped at the bottom. Let's see. I'll throw in more garlic. A few more leaves. Now one thing, I went ahead and cut the oak leaves up just a little bit so they'd fit better. You can eat the grape leaves, but don't eat the oak leaves. Alright, I'll keep adding in cucumbers. You don't want to pack them so tight they bruise or crush, but you can kind of pack them in. Alright, so it looks like this is going to be pretty good. To be honest, this is probably a little overfull, but I've only got 2 left. Maybe I'll have a salad for dinner. Alright, I don't think this guy's going to fit. That's fine. So now I will sneak in the rest of my garlic. Some more leaves. Couple more juniper berries. Grape leaf. Last piece of garlic. Rest of the dill. I need some cracked pepper. You really want it really coarsely, just cracked, not ground. So that's a little too fine, but oh well. Okay. Now for our saltwater brine. We just pour this on. It smells really good already. All the garlic and dill and everything combining. Alright. Now the last little trick is if you take a couple of cabbage leaves, stuff them down in the mouth of the jar. You need the cucumbers to stay completely submerged. And these cabbage leaves are basically just a stopper to help keep everything under the brine. Alright, so with this kind of cap, you don't want to tighten it down super tight. What I like to do, tighten it down until it's firm and back off a quarter of a turn or so. Maybe not that much. Just enough so that as pressure builds up, it can seep out past the lid, but it won't pull too much air back in. Alright, and that's it. Now I will put these in a warm but not hot place, out of direct sunlight, leave them for a week, and they should be ready to start sampling. In 1 to 2 weeks. They'll pretty much be done. You can leave them longer, but small batches like this, I find, they ferment pretty quickly. If you're doing a big batch, like a 5-gallon batch, those will keep longer, it seems like. Now, once they get to the level you like, once they are the level of crunch and tartness and flavor, take this whole jar, stick it in the fridge, and they'll keep for a few more weeks. Putting them in the refrigeration slows down the fermentation, and it'll keep them basically at the state they were at when you put them in there. Alright, so one other thing, during the week this is sitting and fermenting, check it every day. Make sure the top is not too tight. There should be some flex to it. Loosen it a little bit, let any gas escape, and you might want to set it in a bowl or a pan, especially if you overfill it. This is pretty close to overfull, because it may push some of the brine out. Last thing, you'll have brine left over. That's fine. If this starts looking dry, if the brine drops below the neck and the pickles or the cucumbers are in danger of being exposed to air, take the top off, top it up, put the top back on. Easy. Alright, and that's fermented dill pickles. Like I said, they're really easy to do. From this you can branch out and ferment and pickle anything. Carrots work really well, all sorts of produce, but maybe I'll do that for a later video. Alright, happy fermenting!